The first time I kissed an alien princess, it was an accident. That sentence alone still felt unreal, even hours later, as I sat strapped into the observation chamber aboard the diplomatic cruiser Astra Verity. Outside the reinforced glass, the violet glow of the planet Lyrian shimmered like a living heartbeat. I had been sent here as part of Earth's first cultural exchange program with the Volari, a technologically advanced species whose empire spanned nearly half the Orion Arm. They didn't look like monsters, despite what the conspiracy forums back home had predicted. The Volari were tall, elegant, and almost painfully beautiful in a way that felt designed rather than evolved. Their skin carried faint bioluminescent patterns that shifted with emotion, and their eyes reflected light like polished crystal. And Princess Saralith Valenkai was unlike any of them. She stood across from me in the chamber, her ceremonial robes flowing as if stirred by an unseen breeze. A faint silver glow traced the lines of her neck and cheekbones, pulsing softly. Nervousness, I later learned. "You are trembling," she said, her voice melodic yet precise, translated seamlessly through my neural implant. "First interstellar mission," I replied. "First alien royal. First everything." Her lips curved upward in a restrained smile. "Then we share something in common. I, too, am unprepared." That surprised me. "You're a princess. Don't you train your whole life for this?" "Yes," she said softly, "but training does not prepare one for uncertainty." The exchange was supposed to be simple: greetings, shared histories, symbolic gestures of peace. But when the Volari Council introduced a ritual greeting, an intimate exchange meant to convey trust, no one had properly briefed me. Saralith stepped closer, lifted her hand, and touched my cheek. Instinct took over. I leaned forward, meaning only to mirror the gesture I'd seen in human diplomacy: close proximity, eye contact, and my lips brushed hers. The chamber went silent. Her bioluminescence flared white-hot. I pulled back immediately. I'm so sorry. That wasn't." She didn't step away. Instead, her eyes widened, and her breath caught as if she'd forgotten how to inhale. "That," she whispered, "was a kiss." "Yes," I said miserably. "On Earth, it's complicated." The council erupted into rapid Volari speech. Security tensed. My heart pounded as I waited for the inevitable consequences: detainment, diplomatic collapse, maybe even execution. But Saralith raised her hand. "Enough," she said. The chamber fell silent once more. She turned to me, her glow dimming to a soft, shimmering blue. "That contact," she said carefully, activated a dormant neural bond. I blinked. "A what?" Her gaze locked onto mine. "A resonance. One that occurs only between destined pairs." I laughed once. "Princess, with respect, I think your science might need recalibration." She didn't smile. Middle. The Volari didn't believe in coincidence. Their entire civilization was structured around resonance theory, the idea that certain beings were biologically and psychologically tuned to one another across probability fields. Most Volari never experienced it. Some did briefly. But a full neural resonance, what the ancient texts called Zyriath, had not been recorded in over 1,000 cycles. And, according to their scans, Saralith and I had triggered one. I became the most dangerous human alive overnight. The council insisted I remain on Lyrian for observation. Earth protested. Negotiations stalled. Rumors spread through the Volari capital like wildfire. Some called me a blessing. Others called me an abomination. Saralith visited me daily. At first, our conversations were stiff and formal. But slowly, something shifted. We spoke of our worlds, Earth's chaos and creativity, Lyrian's precision and order. She confessed her fear of becoming empress, of ruling an empire bound by ancient laws she didn't fully believe in. "I am expected to marry for alliance," she admitted one evening as we walked through the floating gardens of the palace. "Love is considered inefficient." "On Earth," I said, "we do that too. We just pretend it's romantic." She laughed, a sound like crystal chimes. The bond between us deepened. I could feel her emotions even when she didn't speak. When she was anxious, my chest tightened. When I was afraid, her glow dimmed. Then came the ultimatum. The High Council declared that Zarieth required completion or severance. Completion meant a ceremonial union, symbolic but biologically binding. Severance meant neural damage. For her. For me, I said. "What about me?" "You are human," the counselor replied coolly. "Your neural architecture will recover." Saralith stood rigid beside me, her hands clenched. "I will not allow it," she said. "I choose completion." The room erupted. That night, she came to my quarters, her glow flickering wildly. "I will not force you," she said. "If you wish to return to Earth, I will accept the severance." "And let you get hurt?" I asked. "That's not much of a choice." She looked at me then, not as a princess, not as an alien, but as someone terrified of losing something she hadn't known she needed. "The kiss," she said softly. "On my world, physical intimacy is rare. Sacred." That single moment rewrote my neural pathways. I swallowed. "Saralith, I care about you, but this is bigger than both of us." "Yes," she said, "which is why I must ask." She stepped closer, her voice barely audible. "One kiss changed everything," she said. "May I have another freely given?" The air between us felt charged, alive. This time, there was no accident. When I kissed her again, the bond surged, not overwhelming, but grounding. Warmth spread through my chest, a sense of belonging I never felt before. Alarms blared throughout the palace. The bond had stabilized, but with it came consequences. Ending. The Volari Empire fractured overnight. Traditionalists demanded my execution, claiming the bond corrupted royal purity. Progressives hailed the union as evolution itself. Border systems threatened secession. Earth issued a formal recall order, citing security risks and political instability. Saralith stood before the High Council days later, her posture unshakable. "I will not abandon him," she said. "Nor will I abandon my people. If the laws of the Empire cannot accommodate both, then the laws must change." Silence followed. Then the oldest counselor spoke. "Then you must abdicate." The word struck harder than any weapon. Saralith didn't look at me, but I felt her sorrow like a knife in my ribs. "I accept," she said. The Empire gasped. That night, as evacuation ships prepared to carry us away from Lyrian, I found her standing alone on the balcony overlooking the glowing world she was leaving behind. "I never wanted a crown," she said, "but I never wanted exile either." I took her hand. "You're not losing everything. You're choosing something." She turned to me. "And what if the universe punishes us for that choice?" I smiled faintly. "Then we'll face it together. Humans are very good at surviving consequences." She leaned into me, resting her forehead against mine. "For my people," she said, "a second kiss signifies intent beyond destiny." I raised an eyebrow. "What does a third mean?" She smiled, radiant and unafraid. "Hope." When she kissed me then, it wasn't ceremonial or reactive. It was deliberate, grounded, real. Months later, we stood aboard a neutral station between Earth and Volari space. Saralith, no longer a princess, but still unmistakably herself, worked alongside human and Volari scientists to redefine resonance theory, turning it from doctrine into choice. The empire stabilized. Slowly, painfully, but it did. As for us, we weren't symbols anymore. We were just two beings who had crossed an impossible distance and decided it was worth it. Sometimes, late at night, she would trace the faint scar where the neural implant rested behind my ear. "One kiss changed everything," she would say. "And you asked for another," I'd reply. She always smiled at that. Because in a universe ruled by probability, we had chosen each other, not because destiny demanded it, but because love did. And that choice changed far more than any crown ever could.